Right, the time is 11:30. I'm gonna go ahead and stop our Studio Ghibli Cafe music. That is my go-to. Anytime I need something chill and relaxing. All right, Summer, give me a thumbs up. You can hear me. You can see my screen. We're all ready. Okay, great. All right, so thank you all for joining today's session. This is the second Gemini Gem Jam session that we've done. It's going to be a fast 45 minutes. So this chat warm-up question will help us all get thinking about those recurring tasks that we do very frequently. Off to the side, as you guys were putting those in the chat, I was engaging with my own Gemini chat to ask what potential gem use cases are there here. So I have just by asking Gemini already, I have some good instructions for a form master, a reflection partner, or daily notes summarizer, a timesheet sync tool, and even a student tech incident manager gem. So just by kind of, app smashing here and engaging in all of the AI tools that I can, I already have some ideas for us. All right. So just so you know, this is the second session of 3, hopefully. We do have a snow day makeup session coming up in a few weeks. If you or a colleague couldn't get in today and you really want to make this a priority to learn about gems to automate your time, feel free to join the one that will be on February 17th. This is not live in my PDE yet, since we just thought of this yesterday to, accommodate the weather schedule. But as soon as it does go live, we'll post it in our Atlas page so that you can register for that. All right. I'm Mel Malik. I am the newest member to this School Technology Innovation Partner team. We work with FCPS Department of Information Technology to really help leverage innovative tools across the district. So today we're talking about GEMS. Summer and Pam are going to give us a quick wave from their cameras. That's them. You might have just come off of another session that we were doing with ChatGPT 101, where we learned really great branching and personalization techniques, and Summer did that for us. So that's us, and we're here to support you. And on the screen, you see our little gem personas. These are going to come up a couple more times today. So just like Summer said in the last session, we do have an AI and FCPS page on Atlas. We have a Gemini 101 page and ChatGPT 101 page, and that's where we anchor all of our resources. You can also join our Zoom chat. We get great tech tips really every day from folks who are discovering new use cases. That's a great community to join on Zoom if you're looking to gain more traction in your AI use or hear what other people are doing. All right, and then on this slide here, we can see the supports that we provide. Sorry, I'm making sure that we're recording. Yep, we are. Okay, great. We do support Lighthouse schools. So in the district, we have about 30 schools and teams right now that are engaging in innovation work around technology. But if you just want to chat about that or anything else, hit us up on bookings. We meet with people on Zoom all the time. So let us know how we can help you. All right. Our outcomes today are 3, and they're going to go fast. First, we're going to identify the purpose of a gem and understand the life cycle and really why you would create a gem as opposed to just interacting with a chat, right? The second outcome is to discover the FCPS gem jar. These are pre-made gems created by FCPS staff to transform your workflow. So we are gathering these or preserving really these excellent use cases in a gem jar website so that we can celebrate this work and continue to share these useful gems with folks. So excited to show you that. And then last, we're going to go through some step-by-step guidance. Creating a gem really is as easy as writing an email. You're writing pretty much a 2-field and instructions. So we'll hope to go through that and get you all set up and feeling confident to make your own. So go ahead, in another tab, we like to share our call to action form at the beginning of our sessions that we conduct. This is just a reminder for you to fill this out after today. So what we're seeing in the data from people who actually come to our sessions is that you are really interested in functionally applying some of these ideas. So that's why the emphasis of these sessions is on how can you actually use this as a tool and get you that hands-on practice. So we're responding to your feedback. Please make sure you fill that out to make these sessions even better. All right, let's dive in. So thank you in the chat for putting in some of your broken record tasks. These are perfect examples of things that you can create and make into a gem. So a gem is an automated tool that will help you with explaining processes over and over again, or formatting emails to, a similar structure, or answering questions where 90% of them are the same as a previous form, like one of our participants said today. So keep those in mind as we move forward. But also I want to encourage you to just take a look at the data that you see on this screen and consider who you might reach out to for support who are dealing with the same tasks you are. So this is data from our last session, but you can see, our last session had 19 T-specs in it, 19 S-bits in it. We had 13 people from engineering and architecture. We had 8 leadership and management folks in there. So after today, really reach out to each other. Hey, I saw you in this meeting. What are you thinking of making a gem for? Because gems are shareable now, you can really eliminate a lot of your broken record tasks as a team. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit and talk about gems, Google Gemini. What are all of these tools? How are they related and different? So Google Gemini is your Google AI. It is your FCPS approved AI tool. This infographic was created by Lori Purvis, who sits in the cube next to me at Sprague. And I just thought it was a really great depiction of the different uses for education for Gemini. So really use Gemini as your creative thought partner for teaching. If you are an educator asking for advice on saving time on your lesson plans or drafting small group lesson plans is really great. Using Notebook LM is a really good research partner for you. In that case, you can organize your materials into a binder. And then gems is what we're talking about today. So these are personalizing specific tasks. No matter what, all of these tools are driven by you. So we like to show this Venn diagram. This is clickable on the slides if after today you want to look at this further or even share it with a colleague. We're happy for you to share this. But your purpose for gems is going to drive your use. So here's what you're going to use a gem for. If you have a specific task that you do so often, you feel like it is a broken record, that is why you're going to use a gem. So specific, repeatable, you can assign it a role, a persona. Its knowledge or its brain is powered by your Google Docs, so we get that integration with our Google Workspace. And then the gems that you make, these little chat bots, are actually shareable to different users or different groups. So it's a lot more collaborative. Another reason you might use a gem as opposed to just a chat for a purpose is that a gem actually has a life cycle. So ongoing interactions with your gem actually improve its use over time. I think we've all noticed in our chats at one point or another with Gemini that the conversation goes awry at one point. With ChatGPT, at that point, you can branch it into a new chat. If you just came from the last session, that's a great use case for that. But with gems, know that it is always anchored in your instructions, what you give it and the data and the information that it has. So gems are less likely to devolve or, go scatterbrained over time. And this is a really great reason to use it. So again, go back to your purpose for using this tool. Is it a repeatable task? Do you not want, your chats to devolve over time? These are great reasons to use it. Yep. And we've got a little gem DJ here persona. Okay. I feel like I've answered or I've touched on this already, but your purpose drives your use of AI. So keep yourself at the center, double check all of its work, and really think about how you can use it to strengthen your own processes. Okay, and then the elephant in the room is what sort of data can I use with a Google Gem or Gemini? And what should I use Gems for that I shouldn't use ChatGPT for? And it all comes down to data right now. So Google Gemini is approved for use with level 3 and 4 data. That's going to be confidential and restricted. ChatGPT may get there. We're under an auditing process with them right now. But for now, if you're going to use or you want to make a gem or have a conversation about anything related to confidential or restricted information, personally identifiable information, maybe some data on free and reduced meals, you're going to need to use Gemini, not ChatGPT. Okay. All right, cool. We're already on outcome number 2. This is where we get to discover some of the pre-made gems. So this is going to give us an opportunity to pause and use one so that you can understand really what we're talking about as well. All right, but just so you know, gems were created by Google and there are a lot of pre-made gems. So one pre-made gem that I love is the Brainstormer. And here's how an educator might use the Brainstormer gem. So if you were to click on this, a prompt that you could use is to say, hey, I'm teaching a unit on photosynthesis or the Great Depression for 9th graders. Give me 3 creative hooks to get them excited about this information. Or I'm hosting an event. Can you brainstorm themes for this? And I want something a little bit more than just a pizza party. So this gem has a specific purpose. Its purpose is to find inspiration really easily and to be able to have a chat with someone ongoing. So we thought to ourselves in FCPS, okay, we could use this for brainstorming, but what if we used it for our own school goals? So here we are, we had collaborated with Cooper Middle School. Heather Dorman is the SBITS over there. And she was really interested in creating a gem that teachers could get lesson feedback on. But what type of feedback? They wanted to make sure that it was related to their school goals. So this year they have a priority to include more inclusive lessons. They're an inclusive pilot. So their gem gives educators feedback on how to make it more inclusive. And so the documents or the knowledge that this gem has is about product options, multiple intelligences. They've really fed it with a lot of information related to that goal. Okay, so I am going to show you 2 more and then you're going to explore. Okay, another great use case is our featured gem at Columbia Elementary School. This gem was created by educators who saw a resource gap with benchmark reading intervention lesson plans. They didn't have enough in that. So they actually created a gem to help them generate more. And these would also give personalized information and tidbits about each of their students. We're not going to watch this video today, but it's just really adorable to see students' names in their stories and their faces lit up. And that was all because of this gem being able to put in personalized information about them into the reading passages, and they were much more engaged. All right, so we're going to explore for a second and then come back. We have started to create or collect some of these gems into a gem jar. We're going to put the link to that in the chat, but this is a repository of all of these lovely gems. So I would love for us now to choose a gem and use it. So if you're following me on my screen, I'm going to Pam's link, the FCPS gem jar. And here you see we have Mayor Gem. This is created by Luca Yoon. She is our illustrator and designer in TMPC. He greets us at the top. And then we have some different categories. So we have instructional gems. Scrolling down even further, we have leadership and logistics gems. And then scrolling down even further, professional productivity gems. Okay, now everyone sends emails. So if you're wondering where you should start with a gem, perhaps this gem is something you could try. So the way that you're going to interact with this is you just click the blue button and it opens up Gemini on a separate screen. Okay, so I've made this gem shareable. This is what the interaction with this gem looks like. You could go to any of your emails and say, hey, revise this message, right? Paste it in and let it go. This will help you copy and paste that information back to an email. Okay, we're going to have some sandbox time now. Amy Beth, thank you. I would love for each of us to explore a gem right now. And by that, I mean open up the website, the gem jar, click any of the blue buttons for a gem that you're interested in, and then ask it what it does or start using it. So you can say, hi, what do you do? And just experience using a gem for the next 5 minutes. Okay, we're going to do this until 50, so 11:50.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you say that this anything that we do with this is shareable with all schools?
Yes, some of these gems that you see here, they're public, they're FCPS all can view and use. So anything that you see says by DIT, that's public. The gem that Heather Dorman made at Cooper is also public. This 508 gem
Okay,
is also public. So yes.
thank you.
Yep.
Hey, can I use this email gem for chat messages also?
Sorry, I unmuted myself on my other computer.
Uh,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, okay. So it
Yep.
doesn't directly paste in the email, right? Okay, okay.
No,
Yeah.
no. I would think of it more as a communication revisor.
Mm-hmm.
You're just happening to use it for email or maybe a chat. Um, I'm seeing, just make sure the Google site link, this is an FCPS Google site, so it's restricted to FCPS. So if you are logged into this with a personal Gmail account, you're not going to be able to use it. So Fatima, make sure we're logged in with a personal, or sorry, with your FCPS account.
Hi, this is Esther. On the gem jars, you know how they're usable and shareable? How do we add them? Like, I like the newsletter one since I write the newsletter, but how do I add it in my Gemini?
Perfect question. We'll get to that next, but I'll just answer your question very briefly. Once you use a gem, even if you didn't make it, it's stored under your shared with me in your gem manager, which I'm going to show you. But you do have to use it first for it to save there.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
pro tip, if you like any of these gems that you see on the website, go in, say, hi, what do you do? That's an interaction, and then it'll be saved in your shared with me, and I'll show you that. Okay, it looks like we might be.
You are muted. Sorry if
Yeah.
you're talking.
Thanks. I just saw that. Even Zoom told me. Sounds like we might be ready for some of those more functional questions. So I'm going to jump into our third outcome, which is how do you actually make one of these step by step, and how do you share them? Because these are so powerful as chatbots and automated assistants. The real power has been in sharing these and creating a website. So let's get you guys started with that. So question number one, Bushra just put in the chat, when you open up the Google app, you see Gemini there. Is that the same or different? And it's the same. So your step number one is to navigate to gems through Gemini. Okay. So to do this, we go to Gemini, and then on the left-hand side of the screen, there is an Explore Gems icon, which I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so let me just pop that. All right, if you're looking at my screen on Zoom, you should be able to see this. We see that I'm in my Gemini. On the left-hand side of the screen, there is a sidebar. Okay, we have this little hamburger at the top. We have new chat, my stuff, which are wonderful pictures of Summer's gem personified. And then we have gems. Go ahead and click gems to open up the full gem manager. This is your one-stop shop, your dashboard for gems, and it's kind of hidden. Okay, once you're here, you see your pre-made gems and your new gems. And then going back to the question about once I use a gem, where do I find it again? That's under shared with me. So one really long screen, well, mine is really long because I have a lot of gems, but go ahead and you can explore that. Hopefully that answers that question. Okay, once you are actually in Gemini, now we're back on Zoom.
So whenever we use this gem, it gets shared to us, or because I see only the email revisor shared with me. So
Great.
how?
I can tell that you used it.
Okay.
Yes, so once you use a gem, it's shared under shared with me. Now I'm going to show you how to actually make a gem. So when you're in your Gemini, in your gem manager, you see that blue button that says new gem. When you click new gem, it opens up this set of instructions. And this is why I said creating a gem is as easy as writing an email. Think of it as giving it the name as a subject line for an email. A description is just like your TLDR, too long, didn't read, just a brief explanation of what this does. And then your instructions, you can get as granular with this as you want from the start, or you can ask AI for help in making that. Okay, so let's go through this actual gem builder. The name that you give your gem, you can include an emoji in. That's my hot tip for you, to give it an icon. But give your gem a name, and I would give it a name that adopts a persona, like a coach or a helper. This really helps a user identify what this tool is for. So if you just call it a 508 gem, I don't know what 508 is, but if you call it a 508 content rewriter gem, or a tech tip helper, or an email reviser gem, then I know what it does. Okay, your instructions are just the rules that you give the gem to perform its task. So you can say every week you're going to get a set of, what I did this week, and you're going to summarize it into my goals and my actions and my next steps. The knowledge is where you can add your Google Docs and any files that you have. And then the blue area is this preview screen. So I always suggest that you, when you're building your gem, test it out, make sure it works the way you want. You'll be able to see that output before you actually save it. Once you do save it, though, you can start to chat with it. Okay, so here are some pro tips for creating a persona to make sure that your gem has a very specific task. Okay, so with a persona, tell your gem the role that you want it to play and how it should respond. This is how you can customize it with a tone or possibly to be an extension of yourself. Okay, so you could say you are a helpful assistant for a high school principal. Give it a task that is repeatable. So you can say your job is to take a list of teacher absences and create a draft coverage. Okay, so being very specific about when given this, you're going to do this. Context is to provide as much detail as possible. So if you do want it to be professional or brief or polite or really rude, you could incorporate that into your gem instructions. And then last, give your gem a specific format for how you want the answers to be received. So in an email reviser gem, I don't write emails in bulleted form. So I would want to make sure that the format has clear sentence structure and paragraphs, not bulleted lines. Okay, that's just me. All right. And then if you're hearing all this and you're like, I can't write instructions that are going to help me. I can't even decide what I want to do with this gem. Brain dump into the instructions box. That is our favorite thing to do. We like to kind of talk out loud or think out loud and say, hey, I have a gem in mind to help me draft emails every week. I really want it to do this. Once you brain dump into this box, there's a little crayon with a sparkle on it, and you can have the gem actually rewrite the instructions to optimize it. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 more steps and then I'm going to show you how to actually do this. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, just give us 1 second. Okay, step 3 is to upload knowledge to this gem. So if you want it to always reference a certain schedule or docs or data, you can have it attached from your computer or from your Google Drive. For these documents, though, and if you're intending to share this gem, you really want to make sure that the recipients have viewing access to these documents as well. That is a caveat to making a gem public, is that the gem source documents must also be accessible by the intended user, if that makes sense. We'll talk about that more in a second. And then step 4 is just to use the gem or share it with a link. Okay, so I'm going to pop out here and I'm just going to do a very quick demo of creating a gem. And I'm actually going to use one of the use cases that you guys put into the chat earlier on in our session, your chat engagement or warm-up question. And the one that I'm going to do is the daily notes summarizer. Okay, so on my screen, you should see that I am writing the name of my gem, and my pro tip earlier was to give my gem an emoji. To do that, I can type Windows period, and I'm going to give it a fire emoji because that's what I need to do with my daily notes every day is just set them on fire. Just kidding. I'm all fired up when I look at my notes. Okay, the description of this gem is I keep daily notes, but I often lack reflection time to look at my notes. So this gem is going to act as an editor and a coach to help me get some insight. Okay, so my instructions are you will provide insight to the user based on their notes. Okay. And then in the instructions, again, we could just brain dump this information. So Julie asked a great question about handwritten notes. Can Gemini read handwriting? Yes, it can. I actually do this all the time because I keep my notes in a journal. So the instructions here are going to be very brief. The kind of thinking that I have is you are an editor or coach. You will receive raw notes every day, either a picture of notes or typed notes, or even a Google Doc of notes. you will flag items to do, items I've missed, and summarize this into achievements and next steps. Okay, this is my brain dump. So I've gone ahead and I typed that in there. This is my magic crayon to use Gemini to rewrite these instructions. And this is going to optimize this prompt for Gemini. And I'd say 90% of the time, I keep what it rewrites, and about 10% of the time I go back and I edit it. So when I say you are, I am giving this gem a persona. Act as an editor. It is going to edit my words. It's going to coach me. So by giving it a persona as a summarizer or an editor, we are leaning into that persona. Okay. We got a great question recently. Can you default a gem to using Canvas, or can you default a gem to like always create images for you? And the answer is yes. If you create, or if you select a default tool here to always create images for you, if that's the type of gem that you're doing, or always do deep research on this topic, just know that those options are there for you. And then last, we can put in our knowledge. So you can see we can upload files. Files can be from your desktop, your hard drive, your computer, but they're somewhere local. Add from Google Drive is to add from your shared drive, your personal drive. You can import code from another source, and you can actually attach a notebook LM, which we'll not get into today, but this is one of the newest features that popped up in my personal account that I'm really excited that FCPS now has. So if you have a notebook LM of all of your processes or all of your daily notes somewhere, you can attach that as knowledge. So, you know, it just gets crazy. The preview screen over here is where you would test out this gem, and then you click save to actually start using it. Okay, so when you save a gem, you can start chatting or share from here. But I think that the key that most folks get confused about, and what I'll actually suggest instead, is that you use and share your gem from your gem manager. Okay, so here's one of our last tech tips about how to share this gem, and then we're going to answer lots of questions and give you time to explore further. How do you share a gem? Once you have this gem created, I went to Gems. I'm going down to my gem manager, and I see my gems. Clicking this arrow with share will pop up your sharing box. Okay, so gems can be shared so that all FCPS staff can view the gem. That's how we made our DIT gems public. However, if you had a daily notes gem and you just wanted to share it with your admin team, or you just want to share it with your boss, right? My boss is Tracy Sular. She's right here. I could just share it with her, and she could either view this gem, she could edit the gem, and we can even add an expiration to when that gem access will be revoked. Okay, she'll get an email with a link letting her know that that gem exists, and she can start to use it. You can also go back and edit your gem here, which is another great reason why you might want to use a gem for a specific recurring task instead of an ongoing chat. Is you can always update the directions. So if it starts to do something that you don't like, or you want it in a different format, or you want to refine it further, you can go back and you can edit it from there. Okay, so here are, going back to our slideshow here, just kind of summarizing or bulletizing these key points for sharing your gems. How do you ensure that your permissions are set on your files? You'll need to make sure that you share those with view or edit access. How do you actually share the gem? Go to your gem manager, click the share icon, and then you can make a copy of a shared gem or gems that you interact with. with that 3 dots as well. Okay, and I'm kind of catching up with the chat real quick, but I want to make sure you have these resources as well. I see the question right now, how do you make sure you set the persona or tone? And my answer to that is to ensure that you write it in the instructions. So on the screen, you see you have 2 resources available to you today to walk away with. One is a guide on actually how you set up your files so that they are shared correctly. But the other is a building a gem sentence stem guide. So if you want to make sure that your gem has a persona or you're not sure where to start with those instructions, definitely check out that building a gem sentence stem document and just start to fill it out. That'll help you determine how you should write your instructions. Okay. I think our chat is fired up with questions. So we're going to go ahead and stop here in a moment. If you would like to share a gem that you made, because I think we're going to have a lot of great gems after today that you want to see on that gem jar, there is a Google form to submit. It's on the gem jar website. It's also linked to the slide. We will send you a physical sticker in the mail to show that you contributed to the FCPS gem jar when you do. Okay, but let's go ahead and get to some of these questions and answers. I'll say, Pam, is there a question you think I should prioritize first? No.
There's been a couple of questions about like attaching audio files, for example. And so one of the suggestions that has been coming to mind for me is attaching the audio file to the Gemini chat. I almost wonder maybe you might have shown this, but maybe just to show again quickly of like, you edit your gem and you create it, but then almost that resulting chat, just to kind of see how, the gem's created, and then maybe show how you might, you set up your gem and then you can attach an audio file or any file that way as well. I think you already showed that, but I think that's a good maybe, I guess process, that whole process of the life cycle. Yep.
Yeah, let's see how to actually use this. And you can use voice and audio as well. So let me select a gem here to practice from that I know kind of functions well. Let's do our inclusion gem. Okay, the first question is like, how would you interact with this gem if you wanted to talk to it, maybe? When you're interacting with a Gemini gem, you can use your microphone. This is one way to talk into the gem to kind of brain dump. How would you actually include the audio file? You could include it from the plus icon, then upload file. And then you would have to choose the audio file. Let's see, do I have one? I think I do. And as I'm doing this, I'm also thinking of Notebook LM's transcription features that are built into the tool as well. So you can see it did accept this MP4. I could say summarize this video or audio and put that there, and we'll see what it does. Does that make sense to answer that question? Okay, so when you are interacting with the gem, you can upload different files, audio files, web files, sheets, PDFs, and you can also attach those from your Google Drive. I'm seeing in the chat too, just going back to some of the similarities and differences between this tool versus some of our other tools. So for this, I'm going to go back to our Venn diagram and kind of talk about some of the reasons why you would use gems. because Google has built all of these tools, they have a lot of those overlapping features, being able to use the mic or uploading a doc or uploading a sheet. The reason you would use a gem, again, is you want to give it a task that you do repeatedly. A notebook LM, though, is better for research and synthesis and organizing information into one place and then having it generate some different outputs that might change depending on how you use it over time. So really playing around with gems and discovering what you can make with them and how you use them will really also impact how you think about these different tools too, and when you should go to Notebook LM versus another tool. Are there any chats or any questions in the chat that you guys see that I should answer next? Okay, I'm just going to plug for reaching out to us one more time. If you are in a situation right now where you have a little bit of a brain explosion and you're not sure where to start, let us help you. We have co-created gems with lots of people. We are in the process of creating a gem right now to give individualized feedback on an asynchronous course. So if you have an idea and you're not sure where to start, please let us know. You can schedule with us on bookings. You can reach out to us over email, and we're happy to help you out with that. We'll stick around for additional questions. Feel free to unmute yourself, but thank you guys so much for making time for us today when everyone's schedules were really crazy.
Thank you so much. I have a question. You had mentioned that we can subscribe to the chat where you get the tech tips. How do I do that?
Subscribe to the chat where you get the tech tips. So how do you subscribe to our Atlas page?
I am subscribed to the Atlas page, but there was one part where you had said we could subscribe to the chat, Zoom chat, where we could.
Oh, yes.
the community of practice.
Yeah, I'm happy to show you that. Yeah. Okay, do you see? I'll even get the link so you can join it directly. So on our AI and FCPS page, we have a link to our Zoom community of practice right here. This is a place where I think it might have over 400 folks in there, but we really do share a lot of AI ideas and resources. So I'm going to put this link in our chat, and that's how you can engage with that. Okay, Stacy, go for it.
Hi, yes, I have two questions. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Question one, are your little jewel Gemini pictures, is that your own stuff that you're making, or is that from Gemini itself?
This gem was created by a real artist, Luca
Okay.
Yoon. And
Okay.
then what we did was with Luca, we went over to Gemini and we said, hey, can you create gems in this style? Right? That are sketchy, watercolor, that reference this mayor gem image, but make her look like this person. And that's how I created gems of all of us. And the gems that you see in the slides. I basically uploaded my one reference picture and I said, hey, I want more illustrations that look like this guy. And I actually uploaded our pictures to the chat.
Got it. Okay. And then my second question is, when will teachers get access to be able to directly import questions from Gemini into Google Forms without having to copy and paste?
Mm.
I know my SFETS is able, it's like, it just like it imports
Yeah.
and it's all there. It all just comes, but we don't have it yet for teachers.
I saw this question come up a few times, so I was trying to look to see if I could find an answer. And I'm wondering if you've tried to do this but in a Gemini chat using Canvas mode.
Oh.
Well, it's actually on the Google form itself. We don't have, it's a separate option on the top left on Google Forms where you can literally bring in from Gemini. And I don't have whatever the symbol is, I don't have.
Because all SBITs have that pro account.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
fine.
think we do.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I would try giving it a go inside Canvas mode, just in a regular chat, because I was asking it for like a Google form and started to code something similar. So there might be an opportunity there. There's also a whole bunch of new updates coming from Google. They're having like a big conference. So we're seeing some different things be rolled out as well. I know that's a popular one that people ask for. Yeah, check it out, Mel.
Yeah, so I'm kind of demoing what Summer is talking about right
Mhm.
now.
And
So,
though Yesenia, if you want to unmute too, I see she
oh,
had the same question earlier, and we're at the same school. So
yeah. Yeah, so Gemini Pro is a feature that is accessible inside of Forms, but Gemini Pro is not district-wide. I think SBITs have it. But the use case that Summer just said, I was able to do that immediately in Canvas. So
wait,
you,
can you do that again? Can you show us
yeah,
again? Sorry.
absolutely. Right. So my prompt, let me go back, new chat. Okay. My prompt is create a Google form, dot, dot, dot. And I said that helps users select their favorite ice cream.
And make sure you
The
click on
tool,
tools too. Yeah.
the tool for coding is embedded in Canvas. So if you want to code this into a form or code it into something interactive, select Canvas. Okay. So I have Canvas selected. I have my prompt. I hit submit. It's going to think. It's going to give me that code. And then I can take that code and embed it on a Google site. Embedding it on Schoology is a little bit trickier. And that's what Maria Cruz over at
TJ.
TJ had posted earlier today about
So what do you mean
app
you
snatching
embed
with.
this on a Google site? How do you do that? What do
Got
you,
it.
is it really going to
So
create a separate website?
no, so it looks like this. If you go to our FCPS gem jar, this Google form is embedded right here, the code I just put on the site. So when I click edit page, you can embed code. So anything that you generate in your, wow, this looks really different than the last version that we just did. But any code that you generate, you can copy, go over to your Google site. Where to go? Edit, embed, embed code. It's probably going to mess up my site. Um,
Want to
maybe.
lift back up to what something that Summer mentioned briefly. There was a big Google conference last week in London, I believe, and they unpacked that there's a whole lot of new features coming for schools that are part of the Pro account. We are still unpacking it. Alicia Ograndi, who is the Google product owner, has been working with Google to uncover these. And just this morning, we got some more information about what will be for available for teachers and won't be. So watch for newsletters coming in the next week with some more of the details that are going to be, a lot of the pro features are going to be available to all staff. And it's in February. I don't think they said an exact date in February. February 17th is ringing a bell, but there's other things going on that day. So they just said February. And as Google goes, they roll things out kind of rolling. Not everybody gets it at the exact same moment. So watch for watch the chats that they were talking about, the AI chat, and watch for the newsletters for more upcoming details. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. And then Stacy, if you want to connect afterwards too, I see you could probably tell I was having trouble with my code.
Yeah,
But that
that's
is a
okay.
workflow that we have done several times. So I'm happy to
Okay.
help you out with that.
All right. Thank you.
Great. And it looks like Julie has been super patient with her hand raised. Julie, what can we help you out with?
I think I have a very simple question. So I think my team's going to love this. And I was wondering when and how I access the recording so we can watch it together and play.
Oh, fantastic. The recording from last month's session of this is already live on our Gemini 101 page. It's not today's version, but it is last month's version. So let me show you where to access that. And then we will also be doing this again February 17th. So just in a short couple weeks. if you get fired up or you create a gem and you want some reinforcement or you want someone else to listen to how you create a gem, tell them to come to that one too. Okay, so we have Gemini 101 right here. I already forgot what your question was. What was I showing you?
You're showing me the where to access last month's video.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you. Gemini 101. And then you see gems is on the center of the screen. If you scroll down, it says Gemini gem recording. And then I will post another version after today with these updated slides and this recording as well. We can post this link in the chat. Okay, Michelle, do you have a question?
Not really a question. I just made a gem. I'm not really great in technology, but it was really cool because I put in 3 topics that we learned, and the gem was supposed to summarize it really quickly using SOLs that I've uploaded in the thing. I've shared it on your Google thing, and then it gives you 3 little activities you could do with families. The family can do at home, because I have a lot of parents that
Oh,
say,
wow.
"What can I do with my kids?" And I'm like, it is amazing just following your directions. And then I had to go back in and say, I want each subject in a different paragraph, so it wasn't all jumbled, but I put that on your Google thing. Anyway, it was really cool.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. I'm glad that you previewed it and kind of iterated on how you wanted it to actually function. That's great. Okay. We are about 5 minutes over, so I'm going to gently close us out and just remind us that we will be repeating this session in a couple weeks. And we're available to support you on Zoom, on email. Give us a call, give us a ring, and let us co-create with you. But I hope you guys stay warm. Thanks for being here,
Hey,
and thanks for joining the ChatGPT one too.
Mel, what's the prompt that we give to access what's the gem about?
Ooh, my favorite one is, "Hi, what do you do?"
No, okay, okay.
Yeah, I always just type that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you
Yep.
so much.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Send them to our inboxes. Let us know.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Closing out. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.